Hey guys, Roger Peterson here with Two Can Do. It's been about a week or so since I had my last video out. I've been pretty busy with some changes going on around here. I'll tell you about those later. But for now, it's just good to be back with you here at Two Can Do, where we're always focusing on building powerful and effective relationships with other men. Jonathan David type relationships where two guys really stand back to back and live life together, and they encourage one another. And they do this, why? Because two can do what one cannot. Ecclesiastes 4:9 clearly says, two can do what one cannot, and I want it all. I want abundant life. Well, that means I got to join together with other men at the deepest level and work side by side at life. We always head down that road through questions, courage, and change. And today I want to talk about courage. I actually came up with a good line one time. It was this: courage is not about having the strength to do everything or anything. It's about having the strength to do the next thing. Courage is about having the strength to do the next thing. I've said before from 2 Timothy 1:7 that we have not been given a spirit of timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. In other words, we have been given a spirit of courage. In other words, every time we're courageous, it fits us and something stirs inside of us. It fits the way God made us to be courageous. And obviously the opposite of being courageous is being a coward. What we tend to hope as men is that there's someplace in the middle where we can not be a coward but not always have to get it right. If we were honest, most of us would have to say, we're not even sure what being a courageous man in today's world looks like. Therefore, we're probably not courageous very often, which means we probably hope there's a middle ground because we really don't want to wrestle with the concept that maybe we're being a coward a lot of our life. And I'm not trying to be a hard nose. I'm not trying to slap you upside the head. But I am trying to encourage you to be courageous. I hope there's a middle ground, but I'm not so sure there is. It's really interesting in Ephesians 5:29. God says this. Paul says it, right? God through Paul. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building one another up. What? You mean language falls into two categories, either unwholesome or encouraging somebody? Isn't there a middle ground where you can just talk about the Seahawks or the Mariners? I mean, the Mariners have won a couple games. Come on. Well, I don't know why God doesn't really give us a middle ground to land on. I'm not sure. But all I know is he seems to be black and white. Either you are doing the right thing or you're not doing the right thing. I've looked for middle ground for many years. I really just can't find it. The unwholesome talk is anything that's not encouraging somebody else, it says. Well, I'm afraid being a coward is not being courageous. I don't see a lot of middle ground. In other words, if you want abundant life, you have to be courageous. You have to be doing courageous things that are scary. I know that getting into a relationship with another guy is kind of scary. I know the thought of someday in that relationship talking about your struggles. I know that's scary. And I'm not just talking about porn or other issues like that. I'm talking about the things that scare you inside relationship issues, that sharing about how you feel, talking about the deep regrets that you have. I know that is very, very scary. But if you want abundant life, you have to head toward those scary things that God tells us to do. Two Can Do is about helping you find those relationships where you can wrestle with those deeper issues and you can find abundant life by courageously going there. I hope that these are encouraging you. I'm sorry there's no middle ground. I wish I had some news that was a little more lighthearted. But life is a war. And There's time to laugh. I'm not so sure there's time to be silly. Courage is not about having the strength to do everything or anything. It's about having the strength to do the next thing. What's your next thing?